Well, this is your guy, A-Wins, and I'm gonna break down the NCAA tournament. I think the playing games start tomorrow, so we kind of got to finish tonight. So if anybody wants to participate and put their input in, like I was just doing a breakdown with my friend. And what's interesting, I got an article here about all the coaches, the college coaches that make the money. And they show what everybody makes. John Calipari makes 4, but Bill Self makes 10. Let's see. Kentucky. He makes 8.5 million, so his total pay is 8.6 million. He can get a maximum bonus of 50,000. He hit his bonus. Woo! It would take 47 million to buy him out. Woo! So he ain't going nowhere. Uh-oh. Mr. Lamborghini, welcome. That's a lot of gold chains. Over gold. Oh yeah, I'm drinking on this was considered the chocolate shake from Boulder. What does it say? Lights. Boulder Beer, chocolate shake from Boulder Beer. But thank you for joining me. That's right, March Madness. Thank you, Derek. Tiger Strong. March Madness, the best time of year. And there's my man Lobo. What's happening? Man, I got to meditating and the shit got deep. Eric. So I'm like, man, I just couldn't break away. And let me show you what the local people did. Let's find it. Now, the girl who got Player of the Year last year, she had broke her leg and she's back. And the girl at Iowa. So it's we have former Hopkins star Paige Buckners, NC State star Ellen Comey, and Iowa forward native Monica Krazinia. So, we got a lot of girls that are in the league or, in the college. And of course, we got Chet Holmgren, local guy. Played with Master P, son. Where am I hearing that? Okay, maybe that's better. Now, USA usually does a team-by-team break, and they didn't give a page for that this year, a team-by-team breakdown. They give a little bit of conference and stuff, but overall, not really a good team breakdown. Because I think, and you guys can give input, I really think Gonzaga has the toughest way to make the Elite Eight. I mean, the easiest. Because Gonzaga will have to play. They open up with Georgia State, and then they're going to play 8-9 Boise State or Memphis. Memphis kind of tough. Then they'd have to play UConn or Mexico winner, and then So the toughest team they're going to really face is Arkansas and probably Memphis. Memphis, probably people slept on Memphis, but Arkansas or Memphis is probably the toughest teams they'll have to face. So, and I don't think I'm going to pick Gonzaga to come out because I think I'm going to pick Duke to come out. But Duke has a slightly tougher time. Duke, Cal Fullerton. I think Michigan State can beat Davidson. So Michigan State. Texas Tech, they could face Texas Tech, which is a number 3 for Duke, and then Alabama, which was kind of up and down. And then we're going to have a play-in game between Ruger and Notre Dame. So, where am I at? Ooh. When did you start meditating? What age? I would say in the last, seriously, let me see. Seriously, probably was 15 where I started, bringing stuff in. But yeah, about age 15 or 2015, probably 2015, where I really got serious into it and was able to lead my body. Hey, CJ, what's happening? James, what's happening? Thank you, James. Thank you. Appreciate that. Eric, what's happening? Georgia State has an upset narrative with the only Jewish and former Atlanta mayor dropping dead yesterday. Ah, interesting. Interesting. I still don't think they're going to make it out to first. Predicated. Okay. Researcher 2022. Hey, what's happening? Thank you for joining me. And so if we go down to, I guess this would be the East Regional where Baylor's going to come out. So we've got Baylor playing Norfolk, I think. And so, of course, Baylor probably move on. North Carolina, Marquette. I watched Marquette a few times. I think they're better than their 19-12 record. Actually, they're a pretty decent team. Carolina has a pretty big back line, though. Can they match up? Now, the one I was saying that I really see probably being the biggest spoiler is going to be St. Mary's. St. Mary's will either face Iowa or Indiana. And I'm pretty sure that's a lock for St. Mary's to win because St. Mary is 5. Now, UCLA has a strong team. Even though they got beat in their tournament, they got a strong team. But they would have to play, UCLA plays Akron. God, I'd hate to really, I'd hate to place them above, but I wouldn't be surprised. And then Texas, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has a better team than what their record indicates. But one to watch is Purdue. Purdue still, even though they didn't win the Big Ten title, Purdue's guard play is some of the best in the country. So Purdue faces Yale. Then we got Murray State and San Francisco. And then we got Kentucky and St. Peter's. So we could easily see we could see some serious upsets there, especially if St. Mary's gets past UCLA. That might be a little wink for them. And then if we go up here to the South Regional, we got Arizona, Wright State, Bryant playing. That's got to be tomorrow. And then we have Seton Hall, TCU, two mid teams that I don't think they're going to do much damage. Houston at a 5. Houston's pretty decent. They play Alabama at Birmingham. Then we got Illinois, which actually has a decent team, hasn't played up to their potential. If Illinois plays up to their potential, they're a hard matchup. And then this is one I think, and I'm not just going on emotion, Michigan should beat Colorado, I think. I think that's one upset there. Tennessee playing Longwood. I would say Tennessee could dominate any of those teams. Now, you know how they like to put Loyola Chicago because they have won the title. So they like letting them do an upset. And they play Ohio State, which has not played up to their potential. Then, of course, Villanova sits at a 3 seed against Delaware. And then if we go down to the Midwest, we've got Kansas, the Texas Southern, Texas A&M play-in, San Diego, Creighton. Iowa is going to be better than what people realize. Iowa will matches up well with Kansas. Providence, South Dakota State, LSU, Iowa State, Wisconsin again could be dangerous. Then we got USC, not as good as last year, and of course the 2 seed is Auburn. So, what do y'all think? Let's see, right there. Oh, I think I said researcher. All right, he says Ohio State, Loyola's Chicago upset. Oh, wow. I think so. I mean, that's really, I don't know. You know, the narrative has been to put Loyola Chicago in there. And remember, they did win because actually before the all-black team of Texas Western, it was really that Loyola team. Loyola team started four brothers. So, you know, I know the Texas Western gets a lot of love, but Loyola in 65 won with four brothers and one European player. So that's one I could say. As much as I like Ohio State, they have not played up to their potential. I could see that being upset. So I guess we'll start with what about Texas Southern and Texas A&M CC? What do y'all think of that one? I'm taking Georgia State plus the 24. Yeah, I'm not taking that. But you know what? I'll say this. Eric says he's taking the 24 points. I tend to agree. They shouldn't get blowed out like that. That might be a good bet. 24. If you guys want to take that in the 24, you'll still win. So I think that's pretty good advice. That's probably a pretty good pick. Murray State should win. And what's another one? Murray State plus 3. Murray State's giving up 3. Okay. Iowa's definitely a team to watch. Yeah. Now the Keegan might fuck around and be player of the year. And I ain't realized them boys was 6'8", because their daddy only 6'6". And Keegan didn't get any offers. I know both them boys started out in junior college. I don't think they started. I think last year was their first year at Iowa, because I know they got offers of junior college at first. At least that's what he reported in. So I think they played a year of junior college, and they both went to Iowa. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's what their dad reported. Where we at? So Eric says, what's Eric? Murray State is in 3. Okay. Let me look. Murray State plus the 3. Well, let's break down these playing games. Let's get these playing games out the way. So let's who's on the right here. Let's break down Wright State and Bryant. Who thinks what on Wright State? Eric, you got anything on Wright State and Bryant? What you think about that one? Let's break these playing games first. And then the Texas Southern and Texas A&M CC. Okay, Murray State over San Francisco. I think I could go with that. I'll go with that. Murray State over San Francisco. I think I kind of agree with that one. So the first pick of the night is Murray State over San Francisco. Murray State's a 7 seed. Oh, down here. Okay, so let's go with the playing games. The playing games start tomorrow. So yeah, playing games start tomorrow. I tend to think. I mean, Rutgers is solid, but I don't know. Notre Dame looked pretty good. Notre Dame, and it's not, Notre Dame doesn't play against better competition because Notre Dame plays ACC basketball. So, I like Bryant +4. So Bryant is giving up 4. So Bryant's giving up 4 to Murray Wright. I think we'll take that too. Let me write that +4 here. So we're gonna go with Bryant over Wright State. Excuse me, Wright State. I think I'm gonna go with Notre Dame over Rutgers. I wonder what that line is. I think I'm gonna take Notre Dame over Rutgers. Eric, do you know the point spread on that one? I think I would. I mean, I don't know what this conference this Texas A&M CC are in, because Texas Southern is basically a HBC school. They used to have a cat named Machine Gun Kelly to hoop down there. He ain't playing no defense, but that joker could shoot. I mean, he could shoot. A more explosive Dale Curry. Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. I think his name was Michael Kelly. He lives in Texas too. Last I knew, he was working with the city. He got a tryout with the Bullets, but he didn't play no D. But he was a thicker, more athletic, stronger hooper than Dale Curry. I mean, he was a storm. I watched him drop 44 on a good A&T team. Good A&T team. That team almost beat Georgetown with Patrick Ewing. They had Jim Brown Jr. They just needed me. It means they are getting the points, not giving. Yeah. Plus means they are giving the points, not giving. Okay. Yeah. They are getting the points. Yep. I'm sorry if I said the opposite. Hey, PJ, what's happening? So I think I'm going to take this Notre Dame. If Eric wants to drop the points, that'll be cool. Now, I'll say I watched Indiana play quite a bit, and they were decent team. They had a decent team. I mean, again, the Big Ten was loaded this year. So a little fall off by them. I think they just play better competition. I would tend to go with Indiana just because the better competition. And I don't really know anything about this Texas A&M, Texas Southern. Texas A&M CC has a better record. Let's see. Rutgers versus Notre Dame. Okay. Yeah, I'm still gonna take Notre. He says, who's getting Notre Dame's getting 1. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Notre Dame. What about the Texas in the Texas CC? Let me see how they highlight it. Yeah, remember Baylor lost in the Big 12 tournament. Johnny Doc and so Rutgers is a pick 'em. Oh, okay. I feel you. Thank you. I really don't know anything about this Texas Southern. Must watch matchup. Now I'm definitely going with Gonzaga. I'm going with them. And I'm definitely going with I'm going with Arizona. I think I'm gonna look at I think I'm going with Arizona too. I'm taking all the first rounders to win, to advance. I don't have any number ones getting knocked off in that first round. Virginia Tech and 1. So Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech. Wow, and they're giving Virginia Tech one. Wow, because Texas has a new coach. Guys played hard. They seem like they got a big man. Wow, it might be a good one. I think that does. I think I'm gonna take Virginia Tech to upset Texas. And I take the one. I think this Texas A&M and Texas Southern is a you pick 'em. I'm gonna go with Texas Southern. So Boise State and Memphis. I'm taking Memphis. I don't know the spread. I'm taking Memphis though, because Memphis has played some good ball. They really finished the year how they're supposed to. Uh, Missouri State should beat Oklahoma. Okay, Missouri State over Oklahoma. Yelling at my other son. Uh, where's that one? I don't see that one. What did you say? Oh, Hell, Horse Rider. What's happening? Year of the Cat. Thought it was the year of the tiger. Memphis is giving up two. Yeah, I'll take that. Memphis giving up two. I'll take that. Yeah, I'm taking Memphis. I would definitely take that one. You said Oklahoma. I ain't seen that one. Let me see. They made it. I don't see Oklahoma. Connecticut. Don't see that one. Uh, Yankees need to make some moves. Shit, the Twins made a bunch of moves. Kansas had nothing to do with the cat. But I'd like to say with the will connection. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. What? What did it do that for? Okay. Yeah, Yankees do. A researcher. Texas Southern play tougher competition and beat Florida on the road. Texas Southern. Okay. Yeah. Texas Southern. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we're going to take Texas Southern. Good. Thank you for adding that. Thank you for adding that. And I'm going to take Duke to beat Cal Fullerton. Tell you though, look at what Eric said about taking Georgia State into 24. I think they're going to cover though. I think Gonzaga is going to cover. But I'm taking Duke. Now, I'll tell you one that I don't really feel comfortable, but I'm emotionally vote for him every year is freaking Michigan State. Hey, what's happening? What's good? There's a wild year, maybe 12 teams can win it. We'll see. Let's see. Texas Southern 3 versus Texas A&M going to the main event. Texas Southern -3 versus Texas. Okay, Texas. Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Texas Southern. I'm taking Kentucky. As I said, the one I feel really shaky about is Michigan State. I feel shaky about Michigan State. Oklahoma is a women's game. Okay. Is a women's game. Okay. Thank you. Welcome. Okay. It was a women's game. Okay. I see. That's all. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. No problem. It's a lot of games to put together. I think I'm gonna regret it, but I'm gonna grab Michigan State. But I think I'm gonna regret it. But if we go conversely, I think Michigan can beat Colorado. So I'm definitely gonna take Michigan. They're not very good. They have terrible guard play, but those are my emotional picks. Those are only my emotional picks. I think Auburn will beat Jackson State. I think Purdue will beat Yale. Not sure the odds there. UCLA Akron, I don't see an upset there. UCLA is pretty tough. I think St. Mary is going to beat Indiana or Wyoming. I look for them to move. Now, I'll tell you, this is a tough one. North Carolina Marquette is kind of a tough one. Because North Carolina kind of came on at the end of the year. They played a lot better. Okay. And so I like both teams. Marquette has really played well for their coach. I think they're better than their record. But North Carolina's pretty big. So I'm going to go North Carolina. And I'm going to finish that whole region. I'm going to just go ahead and finish the whole region. So North Carolina would have to play Baylor. Baylor's too strong. I'm pushing Baylor there to beat NC. St. Mary, UCLA. I think, I really think that's going to be the dark horse. St. Mary is better than what people realize. And I really think they're pushing them. So just my guest pick is going to be St. Mary's to beat UCLA. So I'm going to put them to make the 16. Virginia Tech over Texas. Purdue over Yale. I got Purdue beating Virginia Tech. Purdue has a good team. So Murray State moving on against Kentucky. I'll push Kentucky against Purdue. I'm picking Purdue to beat Kentucky. Got Baylor and St. Mary's. I think Baylor moves on. Man, Baylor and Purdue. Wow. Baylor has a good team, but so does Purdue. How far am I behind? Let me see. Michigan -3 versus Colorado. Makes no something. No something. Yeah. I think you're right on that one. UConn fan, but I think they're about to fizzle quickly. St. Mary's always got shooters and always play smart. Yeah. That's why I think they'll make it to the sweep. They'll make it to the 16, I think. And then I think Baylor's going to end their night. As much as I think Purdue will beat, Baylor. Wow. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to just say, yeah, Purdue beating Baylor. Purdue makes the Final Four. That's going to be my pick. Purdue makes the Final Four. That's going to be my pick. All right, let's go up here. I want to finish in the East. Whoops. So I'm going to go ahead and finish all the way in the East. So I'm picking Gonzaga to beat Georgia State. Now, I don't think they'll beat them by 24. So if you want to take that bet, Memphis over Boise, Cincinnati, New Mexico. Wow. Usually the 11-5 matchups are pretty good games. Those are usually pretty good games. Pretty good games. Where am I at? Hey, Strong Discernment. Thank you for joining. So I think I'm gonna go with UConn over New Mexico. Arkansas, Vermont, Arkansas, Alabama, and who did I get down here? Alabama to beat Rutgers, Notre Dame. Alabama to beat Notre Dame. Wow. I don't know. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna write Notre Dame in there. I think Notre Dame beats Alabama. Texas Tech, Montana State. Tech is actually a pretty solid team. All right, moving on to the next round. I put Duke in there, of course. Duke will face Michigan State. Duke will beat Michigan State. So I'm putting Notre Dame in there. Notre Dame to face Texas Tech. I'm pushing Texas Tech on. I've got Duke beating Texas Tech. I've got the Zags beating Memphis. Let's see. Okay, Arkansas. UConn. I don't know. I think Arkansas beats UConn in the second round. I got Arkansas going. I got the Zags beating them. I don't know. I tend to think that Duke is going to win this. I think I'm going to stick with that. I got Duke going to the Final Four. I don't think I'm going to waver just because it's Gonzaga. I think they're going to let Duke go through. Now, maybe I'm proven wrong. So my first two Final Fours is Duke and Purdue. Now, going up into Arizona, moving on, of course. Seton Hall and TCU. It's kind of a give me. I'd say Seton Hall plays a little tougher schedule. Houston, Alabama, Birmingham. Houston is good. I definitely got Houston. Illinois, Chattanooga. That could be the 13-4 could be upset, but I'm going to Illinois because they actually got a good team. They've got the big fella. Michigan, Colorado State. I think Michigan's going to do it. Tennessee, Longwood, Tennessee. We've got Ohio State, Loyola, Chicago. Man, that's a tough one. I see them letting Loyola go through. I think Loyola's going to beat Ohio State. And then we've got Villanova. I think Villanova's going to pass on. All right, that would put Arizona, Seton Hall, Arizona. That would put Houston against Illinois. I am giving Houston the nod. That would put Michigan against Tennessee. I'm giving Tennessee the nod. Villanova versus Loyola. Oh man, I tell you, I feel Loyola. I really do. And they're 7. They're a 10 seed. Yeah. Kind of want that one, but I think I'm gonna go with Villanova. So we're looking at Villanova, Tennessee. I think whoever fits there, Tennessee will beat them. That'll put Houston against Arizona. I can see that being upset, but I'm going to go Arizona. So we got Tennessee versus Arizona. Man, I really like Tennessee. I really do. I might wait till the end to come back to that one. Let me read. Hey Z, don't forget there will be upsets. Always happens. Definitely. Thank you for joining. Yep, Z, upsets always happen. Embiid cooking. Yeah, he could. Oh, okay. The game has started. I saw it was about to start. I ain't gonna go too much longer. And no Big Ten school has won since 2000. That's right. Michigan State was the last school to win it. Even though I don't think Duke's that good this year, Duke could win it all being its Coach K. That's what I'm leaning on. Tennessee, solid this year. Yeah, Tennessee, Lobo. Tennessee looks good. And I'm kind of leaning putting them through Arizona. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a second. All right, and down in the Midwest Regional, again, I got Kansas beating whoever they face. San Diego State and Creighton. That could be a tough game. That could be a tough game. That really could. Just looking at the 8-9 teams, like the 5-6s, but yeah, that could be a tough one. Now I'm gonna pick my boys out of Iowa. I'm gonna pick them. Iowa to beat Richmond. Providence over South Dakota State, definitely. LSU over Iowa State. Tell you what, Iowa State looked good at the end of the year. Man, that's a tough one too. I'm gonna put Wisconsin though to beat Colgate. USC over Miami. Miami didn't look bad, but I'm gonna go with USC to beat Miami, and of course Auburn. Putting Auburn in there. San Diego versus Creighton. Let me go. Yeah, San Diego State versus Creighton. I guess I'll go with San Diego State. So we'll have San Diego State facing Kansas. And Kansas beating them. Iowa facing Providence. And I've got Iowa going ahead, beating them. We've got LSU versus Iowa State. I wasn't impressed with either team. I think I'm going to go with Iowa State there. I'm not really impressed with either team. And then USC, Miami. That could be an upset game there, looking at it on paper. But USC seemed pretty – they still got the one brother there. So Auburn beating USC. Wisconsin versus LSU, Wisconsin. All right, so my final 8 over there is Kansas, Iowa, Wisconsin against Auburn. Wow. Auburn does not seem to handle pressure very well. But the league the NCAA, I don't know how far they'll push Wisconsin basketball. That makes me pause. That would be my pause. Tell you what, though, Iowa matches up very well with Kansas. I just don't know if they're going to let the boys do it or not. Just don't know. I still think Auburn should beat Wisconsin. Where are they playing, though? Let me see where they're playing. Oh, hell no. They playing in Chicago? No. I'm changing my mind. They giving that to Wisconsin. Yeah, they playing in Chicago. Madison only 5 hours away from Chicago. Yeah, that's Madison. Their crowd is gonna be there. It's gonna be packed. I'll say that's gonna be the push between Auburn and Wisconsin. I'm gonna give Wisconsin. And this is gonna be my emotional pick too. I'm gonna go with Iowa to beat Iowa to beat Kansas. And out of Iowa and Kansas, you know, I got to pick my guys' sons. I got Iowa coming up out of there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee beat Arizona. Wouldn't surprise me. So my Final Four is Duke against Purdue, Iowa against Arizona. I got Duke beating Purdue. I think Iowa's run is going to end, and I'm putting Arizona in the championship game against Duke. And I'm picking Duke to win it all. So again, my Final Four is Duke, Purdue, Iowa, Arizona. Where am I at? Even though I don't think Duke, yeah. Jack, what's happening? You think Duke's taking it all? Yeah, I think the Coach K thing is going to play out. And think about it like this: Petrovic, you know, being the all-time winningest coach in the NBA, I think that narrative is going to pass over to Coach K as another way to move things. Hey, what's up, Conspiracy? What's happening? No notification. Wow. Okay, yeah, I came on a little. I got to meditating. Man, I meditated for a good. I got pretty deep. You know, I was sitting there thinking I was about to go to sleep, but I was right at that point where I could go to sleep, and then you start. It's almost like if you think about how string theory you start to key in, you start to see what you create, and then I was like, oh shit! And I was looking, and of course I get deeper and deeper because I saw a sigil. I saw a sigil, and I got to call my brother to see, but I saw a sigil at the hospital. I was quite surprised, and it could be some dark shit, you know, seeing a sigil like that in the hospital. So I was quite surprised. So, and I knew it was going to be a great day today because this is what's interesting. When I was going to my appointment, again, we got fluffy snow this morning. I mean, my car was covered. You know, I park when it's cold and fucked up weather. I don't like shoveling off snow and shit. And I knew it was going to snow, but by the time I got ready to leave, the snow it was too warm. I mean, again, it was big fluffy snow it was covering everything because so much came, but you know, by an hour later, it almost all melted. But what I saw cool was, and you know, what we have, of course, is we have bald eagles up here, you know, the whiteheads. And I was like looking at it was two birds in the tree, two big ass eagles. And eagles, I mean, shit, you talk about a monster bird. And then it was crows picking. It was something dead on the side of the road, and it was enough red shit to see it was still meat left. And it was eagles looking, and maybe the crows, because crows are very intelligent birds. They very good birds to be in tune to. If you have a house or you live somewhere where the birds can perch, crows are a very good bird to kind of get in tune with, kind of give you a feeling of how to face the day. But seeing them two bald eagles, like, oh, this is a great day. Great day. Them big ass birds like pterodactyls up in the trees. Floaters are spiritual. Or eye floaters spiritual. Doctors say is abnormal. I ain't never heard that's abnormal. They say my doctors have told me since the beginning that it's normal to have floaters in your eyes. So yeah, I've never heard it wasn't normal. I've always heard that it was normal. You think you're gonna push Houston again like they did last year? I didn't think they would. Again, remember the one cat they made shoot, well, Baylor especially, they made one dude shoot it. I made a video on that, made it shoot incredibly well. But to a point, they'll push them to a point. Again, you know, they've never won it as far as, I don't think Houston's ever won it. And as I've said before, they tend not to let teams not win it. That's why I say I do not think Gonzaga is their year. Now I could be proven wrong, but I just don't think it's going to be their year. But they like Houston. Houston travels well, spends money well. They like Houston. So, oops, dropped it. I got another one up here somewhere. So yeah, I think they're going to push Houston again. Another pen. So yeah, I've always heard eye floaters were natural. Mo Ray, what's happening? Oh, mushrooms became very prevalent as well, and while meditating. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, mushrooms will give you that. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, I went and hit a bong, and man, it just shit kept opening up. And I'll tell you, when I make mistakes, I'll say that too. And I saw the Czar world open up because it was like doors started opening up. And I was just kind of like, and it's like the way things come at you really quick. And I was like, oh shit, there goes the Czar tunnel. Because I saw it come up, but I didn't throw my consciousness into it. But I was like, okay. Because that's the only thing I really call. I know my brother, he'll call some of the 72. The only thing I really ask is like when I want to go into the Czar, I'll call the sisters, and that's why I think that this book is loaded. Maybe. Now I don't know if everybody, I think this is University of Wisconsin book. Now I don't know if these sisters visit everybody, but these sisters check me out. Because sometimes books can be enchanted. I mean, that should be obvious that books can be enchanted. So, but yeah, sometimes books can be enchanted. So you have to kind of look at the information you're bringing in. That's like when you go to the hospital, you should really, when you go out of your door, you should hesitate. Like you should hesitate before you go out of your door. Once you go out of your door, you should hesitate again. And it's like when I go into the hospitals, I sit there and say, I have brought nothing in. And I make I do not accept to bring anything out. Because you go in there and they tell you got some shit. Fuck that. I already put in my mind, I ain't got that shit. I'm already making I'm already claiming, I'm already taking that, no, I ain't got what you say. Because I didn't have it when I came in here. So I don't make any agreements. And I've showed before, hospitals, if you really look at it, it's a type of mouth a lot of times you see on hospitals. There's several up here. And if you go some hospitals, you can look at the shape of the building. It's almost like it's a mouth eating energy. Man, it ain't a great place. That's why spirituality ain't in hospitals at all. They put religion in hospitals. They do not put spirituality. Most time, if you want to hang up even dream catchers and shit, they don't want that shit up there. They say that shit be in the way of them operating, not operating, but giving you treatment. Wonder if I need this bright ass light. Ooh. When I read Angel and Demons for the first time, I felt like it was in a chat, man. Yeah. A lot of books you gotta, do little, agreements where you're not taking anything, other than just the information coming out the book, that you don't take any energy from the book. I mean, sometimes you got to do that. But it's the same thing. And like I said, when I go out, I do the same thing. I'm like, I ain't brought nothing in this motherfucker. I ain't taking nothing with me. Because a lot of times, the hospital's a great place for fucking attachments. Healthcare is a business. A patent is the customer loss. Yeah, exactly. I used to work in a hospital, and the energy is heavy and dark. Absolutely. That's why there's no spirituality. Look in a hospital. There's nothing spiritual in the hospital. The closest they come to spirituality in the hospital is colors. And then the colors are pretty much repressive too. But like this one I go to is fucking mouths. And all through Minnesota, I see these fucking mouths. Like, you'd have to look at, I don't know, maybe it wasn't on this channel. Maybe it was a channel they took away. But I think I made a video last winter. It shows me going into the hospital. And it shows you how a lot of hospitals have, these saints and shit. It's fairly dark. Like you said, it's dark. It's not a real place for healing and miracles. It's almost just the opposite of that. You think you can go in that hospital and get a miracle? They ain't made for that. And medicine ain't really made for that. Now, of course, it's like this. If some people don't get better, it makes people suspicious. You feel me? If people don't start getting better every once in a while, it becomes suspicious. So every once in a while, oh, they beat cancer. Oh, they beat this. Oh, they beat that. Like the wrestler. Sly did the show about the wrestler. He just went in there for hip replacement. What the fuck can happen in hip replacement? It's a fairly common procedure. And if you watch it, they roughing the motherfucker on you the way they got to knock that shit out of there. And yeah. Watch that shit or watch a video of that shit. That's some rough looking shit. Same thing happened to my cousin. Now, my cousin fucked around, wouldn't take his diabetes medicine. It was a number of other things he wouldn't do. Some kind of way, he has this small 1-bedroom apartment, and some kind of way he fell in that motherfucker and broke his hip. And I mean, broke his hip to the point he was crying when they came and got him. I mean, it was so much pain. And they did the full hip surgery on him. And they said he couldn't wake up out of the anesthesia. Now, again, in my family, he was probably, let me think right, he'd have been the senior chief at the time. Yeah, he'd have been the senior chief of my wing. Yeah. And then his brother, I've told the story of his brother. He had to live with oxygen. He was a cigarette smoker, had to live with oxygen and got tired of the oxygen. It's like, fuck it, you know, my parents have died. You know, now my brother died. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live the rest of my life carting this goddamn oxygen around. Matter of fact, he was up for lung transplant. Not only the smoking fucked him up, he had a lung disease, he found out. So he was on the list to get a lung transplant. But again, you know, they just gave a motherfucker, remember, they just gave a motherfucker some kind of monkey heart or some monkey tissue in his heart. You know, in war, those of you who've been in the army, you know, there's a type of pig skin that they put on wounds. When I worked at Pfizer, we used to make that shit. It's a type of pig. It comes from pigs, and that's what the army puts on wounds. We had big pieces, we had little pieces, but this shit, you put it on the wound, and this shit goes right into your skin to start healing. And again, a big piece. You got a big ass wound. We have big pieces like this. You put it, it'll form right in your skin. But it's a type of pig tissue. And so my cousin, you know, got his hip replaced, didn't wake up. They said this wrestler, the same thing, got his hip replaced. How the fuck? You know, you are looking at their vitals the whole time. And then you try to bring them out of it. You can't bring them out of it. How is that? But that made me think of my cousin when it happened. Who, you know, he had every intention of coming back. I mean, yeah, his health, he had a stroke in his, you know, telling the whole story. Shit, he was a crack smoker. And he had a stroke. And he was one of the first people in the country that got the medicine. Because if you have a stroke and there's a medicine that they've been able to give you for, I said, the last 20 years, if you get it in time, you won't lose as much. And I saw him deteriorate over the years. One of the last full conversations we had, he's like, yeah, you're my nephew. Like, no, nigga, I'm your first cousin. He's like, oh, that's right. Yeah, nigga, it's me. So, but now his brother, I told the story, his son took him to Mecca. And again, not taking his high blood pressure medicine, not taking his, you know, diabetes medicine. Comes back from the trip. He has a major stroke. They don't get the medicine that would have saved him. Can't speak, can't live on his own anymore. And he's only in his mid-60s. Hey, Lost, thank you for joining me. So what happened to the wrestlers probably was his time. Again, entertainers. They always have. We coming up to this tournament, so they need blood. I mean, these are some bloodthirsty demons we live around. They must be coming to my house. They parking in my garage spot. Well, no, they leaving out. It's still light here. What time is it? It's still light here. Ain't dark yet. But I'm not going to go too long. Fuck, I'm going an hour. I didn't even know I was going to go an hour because I'm not coming on at midnight. This is my rest night. I'm not coming on tomorrow night either. So I guess that'll be Thursday morning, right? Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Yeah. So I guess I'm going to tie it up. Okay. They're over there with them. Guess unless anybody's got anything else they want to go over, I guess I could call it. So fade that nigga shit, you know? It's funny. I was thinking about how motherfucker you see these comedians using Richard Pryor jokes. I've said this before. Eddie Griffin. When I saw Eddie Griffin, Charlie Murphy, D.L. Hughley and Sid closed it, and Sid sucked. Eddie Griffin was the best of all of them, but I caught him using that Richard Pryor joke. And then I caught a dude on Netflix, you know, because Richard Pryor would always say, he had a way to hesitate and they go, oh shit. And dude just was doing Richard Pryor. He was doing Richard Pryor's hesitation. I was like, wow. What's up, Moray? Where does emotion come from? I notice some people are more full of emotion than others. Well, really, if you look back at crying is probably the first emotion that we learn because it gets us attention. We find that adults fulfill our needs as we cry. So crying becomes one of the first emotions that we have. And yes, it's a physical need for, you know, you got a bad diaper, you're hungry, but we look at that as we get attention when we do it. That's why children still whine as they get older, because they got attention so long that, and it's really fun. Like my son here, when his friend died, I think, and I know this is a bad way to say it, it opened up his emotions because he's like he don't, like me and this motherfucker riding the car, he don't even want to talk to me. Now, I've always thought he has Asperger's. They say he didn't, but I'm sure he does. But like, we'll ride in the car together. This motherfucker don't even want to talk. Like, he'll play 20 hours on his phone straight. We get in the car together, he right back to a screen. And he really doesn't have that interpersonal talk unless he got something to say. You know, other than that, he's pretty much, he doesn't like that one-on-one having to talk to people. You know, he really just doesn't. Now, of course, he'll play the game bullshit with his friend, but when it comes to me just sitting there one-on-one talking to him or his mother, yeah, he ain't there like that. Now, you know, but to answer your question, so, you know, it's innate. Emotions is innate, you know, like a bird flying is innate. It is innate. That is why we are born to love. I mean, if you think about most, we are born to love because we get so much love as children. Those of you that are parents, just think how much love you put upon your children. Now, really no diss to my ex, but my ex, like, you know, it was a certain point where she was easy for her to detach from the children. You know, women do go through that postpartum and all that shit. So that's, and I'm not going to say it's excuse because women do go, you know, women, what happens is women be pregnant, and then when the pregnancy ends, all the attention goes on the baby. And so that attention of, you don't get it anymore. And then you know, their hormones until all that. It's like, I'll tell you how bad it is where people watch babies. My oldest daughter, or well, my middle daughter, but my oldest daughter that I'm in her life, she comes out and the doctors and everybody pay attention to her. And so when I finally gave her to her grandmother, I went to see how my girl was doing. She was fucking turning white. And what happened is she started hemorrhaging and them motherfuckers wasn't paying attention. I'm like, hey, she's turning white. What is this? There's something going on with her. And then they had to go back and start working on her again. And again, you know, she had lost so much blood, but you know, she was okay. She didn't lose a terrible amount, but but that's how you know, the focus goes on the baby and not necessarily the mother. The best musicians are full of emotion. Yeah, no doubt. The best fighters, strongest people are full of anger. Somewhat controlled, a type of controlled anger. But like love, that's why I say love is innate as well. Love is innate because to take a baby and change and feed the baby is love. That comes from love. I mean, my children, my youngest one, he used to shit up his back. He was the first baby I ever saw that would just shit all up his back. We would be out somewhere and this fucker would just shit all up his back and we'd be somewhere. So we started taking, but it's like taking in the bathroom. Here's this fucker that then shit up his back. He was my first baby. The other would just shit all up his neck, you know? It's like, damn, little motherfucker. And so, you know, we're taught love from the beginning, and love is innate as well. And not hate. Hate ain't innate. Love and hate ain't the opposite. You know, that they're not opposites. Love is supreme. Now, a lot of hate is taught. That's why I know a lot of the issues that is going on with the schools out here and the racist shit, that's taught at home. And it's very conservative in this area. And so these children are only saying in the world what they hear. Like the little native girl, you know, that got into it and then moved to Florida. She hearing that shit at home. That's how the natives feel about us, because they know we are the real people, the melanated Americans that they say are Negro, black, colored, African American. They know that. They know we come from the East Coast. My brother was reading some shit with the Sioux. Part of the Sioux band had went west and then came back to deal with, to see the East. And the East people said, we don't even know our brothers. What the fuck happened to y'all? We don't even know you guys anymore. So hate is taught. Hate is taught. Now pain, again, pain is experienced. Heartache is later experienced. But hate is taught. You know, you ain't just born to hate some shit. Hate is taught. I mean, you look at Jim Crow, because that's when the real slavery, that shit they talk about, that's slavery. Jim Crow was slavery. And you talk to some of them people in Mississippi, Alabama, especially Mississippi, slavery didn't end. Jim Crow didn't. Slavery, they were still slaving people in Mississippi up until the 1960s, in my lifetime, where people were still trapped in them areas. I mean, Jim Crow was the worst period for us, way worse than slavery. And you look at how many people they locked up during Jim Crow and then forced the people to work. While you was locked up all day, you clearing shit. This was slavery. This was the worst they treated us. Not the shit they talk about. I mean, that was the real slavery that didn't end till the 60s. And I mean, slaves existed until the 60s under the guise of Jim Crow. It was way worse. Way worse. And of course, they don't want that taught anymore. Oh, okay, no problem. No problem, Jay. What's PJ say? I remember those shit up the back days. Oh my goodness. My daughter did it too. I was talking to her mom and she was saying, yeah, Natalie used to do that shit too. My youngest, yeah, she'd shit all up her back too. And be like, God damn. Because it's like you hold them and you know, you feel the back of their hair and then you got crap all on your hands. Like, motherfucker. I think the worst was my boys were shit. The big dude with me that lived with me, he was probably 1. So my other son was 2 or 3. And this one shit at the funeral. And then again, they couldn't sit still. You know, they both could move around. So, you know, when her grandmother died, I took them downstairs because at least I could just let them go. Because I had them in headlocks when I was up with everybody. I had them like this. I'm like, yeah, you little motherfuckers, I'm choking the shit out of them. But I had them in headlocks. And they're like, her mom's like, that's not a good look. But you take these motherfuckers. Shit. If they going to be with me, they going to be in fucking headlocks. So I took him downstairs. And then when we went downstairs, my youngest said shit. And I mean, changing him, wet wiped, it still all smelled like shit down there. And that's where everybody had to go to the bathrooms. So yeah. Well, I guess I'm a kick it now. I'm gonna go ahead and know the hoop game started by now. So thank you guys. Just want to go through the brackets, a little short video, because I know I'm not gonna come on at midnight. So I'll catch you guys. I guess that would be Thursday morning. Say less.